lovelies, you're welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, that leave commentaries, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Alright lovelies, let's dive in today's video. So lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to share with you guys is kind of an awareness video for, especially black women out there. Guys, we need to just watch out for ourselves and take care of ourselves. I'm just gonna roll the clip as well as some of the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video of a 36-year-old mom of two who just passed because of negligence. All right, lovelies, let's dive into it.
Influencer and mom of two, Jessica Petway, died at the age of 36 from cervical cancer after initially being misdiagnosed with fibroids. My name's Joel, the medical mythbuster, and there's a lot to dive in here to talk about with racial disparities in healthcare. In the United States, black women are the racial group most likely to die from cervical cancer. And recent studies show that rates of cervical cancer are on the rise for young people. In Jessica's case, her symptoms were ignored, leading to a misdiagnosis. In an Instagram post before she passed, she describes how in 2022, she was having intense vaginal bleeding. She ended up being found unconscious by her husband and was rushed to the hospital, where she was told that she was having blood loss because of fibroids. She was discharged the next day. A year later, she was taken to the hospital for the same thing, and she was told that she was having bleeding once again from her fibroids. It took multiple visits until a doctor finally looked at her cervix and sent her to an oncologist. As she says in her post, it turns out it was not a fibroid, but cancer. I was misdiagnosed all this time. This tragic story is an example of the difficulties that black patients face. It's an example of anchoring bias when we look at a diagnosis and we get stuck with it. To the patients watching this, advocate for yourselves. That means getting your HPV vaccine. It's the most safe and effective way to prevent the types of HPV that lead to cervical cancer. Start getting your Pap test at 21 to test for cancer. And to the healthcare professionals out there, I hope you remember this story. Listen to women, especially black women, when they say something doesn't feel normal for them. Jessica's voice may not be here anymore, but her story has to serve as a powerful reminder for the work that needs to be done in medicine.
When Jessica Petway started having severe vaginal bleeding in June of 22, at first she wasn't sure what was going on. She ultimately needed to be hospitalized twice in July of 22, the first time being when her husband found her collapsed in their bathroom. After these hospitalizations, she was diagnosed with fibroids. According to her own comments on Instagram, after the bleeding had slowed down, she started having really severe pain that was limiting her quality of life. She was hospitalized again in January of 2023 and at this point required significant amounts of blood transfusions. But it wasn't until February of 2023 when someone finally did a vaginal exam that they found she had a tumor growing around her cervix. At this point, she says she had received 18 blood transfusions and was diagnosed with stage 3 cervical cancer. She passed away earlier this month at the age of 36. I don't know why she wasn't examined sooner. I don't know why she seemingly wasn't offered any meaningful treatment for the fibroids, even though that's what they thought was causing her problem. But I do know that women patients far too often have our symptoms written off. People think we are overreacting. People don't take us seriously. And this is especially true for Black women and other women of color. Before you swipe to the next video, please listen to the words of my colleague, Dr. Kemi Dahl. She is a gynecologic oncologist whose research focuses on gynecological cancers in Black women.
So I don't usually do videos like this, but I have a lot to say about this. Most of which won't be covered in this video, but this is about the story of Jessica Petway, this gorgeous beauty influencer who just recently died of cervical cancer. And when you say those words, that is ridiculous. Like, as a gynecologic oncologist, it's ridiculous. And I always feel so sick to my stomach when I say X person died of cervical cancer, because it's a 100% preventable cancer. So with a combination of vaccines and early detection and Pap smears, those two together, we should not have people dying of cervical cancer. But Black women die of cervical cancer at higher rates than other groups. And there are a lot of reasons for that, but I think the story of Jessica Petway shows you how even when Black women get the sense something's wrong, something's off, and go in, she describes multiple different encounters where she's diagnosed with fibroids, and her bleeding is attributed to fibroids, and there isn't any further workup or evaluation for I think it's at least 6 months or more. And so this hit close to home because this is exactly the research I do around endometrial cancer and delayed diagnoses and the problem of Black women having a 98% higher mortality than everybody else from a cancer in the womb. So much more to say about that to come. But with this, I just want to say that reproductive health care is more than pregnancy. Your reproductive well-being goes beyond whether or not you are pregnant. And we need a radical shift in how we think about our gynecologic health for Black women, how we advocate for that, and how we demand better care around that, because there are multiple layers of systems set up to devalue specifically the non-pregnant Black womb. It's almost like it doesn't exist at all, except we know it exists because Black women who are not pregnant are suffering and dying every day unnecessarily because we have not prioritized the entirety of gynecologic health. More to come, and my deep condolences to Jessica Petway's family, and I hope that this encourages you, if you're listening, to schedule that annual exam and to take your gynecologic health seriously, because it matters, and I think for Black women might be the most central part of your health. More to come.
Finding out a Black woman died from something preventable is just devastating as an OBGYN. But then finding out that this was mistaken for a benign condition like fibroids, I felt the need as a fibroid surgeon and specialist to comment. And there's some things we could learn from this. One of the things that I really want folks to know is that heavy bleeding is never normal. Even though other people in your family have had it, even though friends tell you that they also have it, it is really important for you to talk to your GYN about your symptoms. If you're soaking a pad every 2 hours, if you change more than 5 pads a day, if you have to double up on tampons and pads, that's a problem. If you're scared to leave your house because of the bleeding, something is not right and you should be checked out, and you should at minimum have a pelvic ultrasound, and usually we'll do blood work to also evaluate why you're bleeding so heavily. Do not use the ER or urgent care as places for sort of long-term management of things that are chronic. So you've had bleeding for several months or it keeps occurring again. Go to a doctor. If you don't have one, establish care with a GYN. Because that person will know your history and could do the long-term workup. Emergency rooms are meant for emergencies. So if you're bleeding, they'll help that bleeding stop, help, transfuse you, get you back so you could walk out their doors. But further workup of why you're bleeding in the first place needs to be done with your doctor, your OBGYN. And make sure you see them annually.
Jessica Petway, a well-known beauty and fashion YouTuber, just passed away of cervical cancer at only age 36. And her story is so important to talk about because it raises lots of issues about the tragedies that can happen when women, especially Black women, are not listened to. She told her story in her Instagram. Basically, in 2022, she started having intense bleeding to the point that she was actually hospitalized 3 times in several months. Now, somehow during all of these hospitalizations and visits, no one apparently did a pelvic exam or a pap smear. They diagnosed her with a fibroid, presumably on imaging studies. Lots of Black women have fibroids. It can be a red herring. So it sounds like they were like, oh, you're bleeding because of your fibroid, and didn't do further investigation. When she finally had a pelvic exam in early 2023, they saw a huge cervical mass and she was diagnosed with stage 3 cervical cancer. Cervical cancer is actually almost an entirely preventable cancer. You should be able to detect it in precancerous stages and treat it so it doesn't turn into cancer. I am begging healthcare professionals. I see stories like this so much where, they say, like, my doctor said it was normal, like they treated it like it wasn't a big deal. Please listen to women. Please listen especially to Black women. If someone is still having severe pain, heavy bleeding, don't be dismissive. Don't be like, oh, it's just like a period, it's just fibroids. Dig a little bit deeper. Try and figure out what's going on. There are answers. We just have to find them. Jessica deserves so much more. I hope that we can talk about her story to help raise awareness to try and prevent this from happening ever again.
This is Jessica Petway, and she just recently passed away from stage 3 cervical cancer. And of course, her death could have been prevented if she wouldn't have been misdiagnosed. Jessica, a 36-year-old content creator, went to her doctor with concerns that she had intense bleeding, fatigue, and just overall weakness. Her gyno diagnosed her with fibroids, and in case some of you don't know, fibroids is tissue overgrowth in your uterus and is actually a pretty common diagnosis, especially women of color. So of course her gyno was like, okay, woman of color, heavy bleeding, this is easy, it's just fibroids. Despite Jessica having blood clots that were a size of a placenta, as she described on her Instagram post. Fast forward, Jessica continues to get hospitalized because the bleeding continued and her blood levels were so down she needed blood transfusion constantly. She couldn't even get surgery for these fibroids because she didn't even have enough blood supply. After many hospital visits and tons of interactions with doctors, 7 months later is when a doctor sends Jessica to see an oncologist, and this one did a biopsy on her, and she says on her Instagram post, I quote, "When I woke up from anesthesia, he casually said, yup, you have stage 3 cervical cancer." Wow. If Jessica's GYN could have taken the necessary precautions of doing an ultrasound or sending her to do a biopsy just in case to make sure she was okay, they would have detected the cancer when it was small. I'm glad the story is going viral, and we need to continue raising awareness about this because I can't stress this enough. If you are a woman with a uterus, advocate for yourself. Ask for ultrasounds. Ask for the biopsies. Get the second, third opinion. This is your life in the line, even if these doctors keep minimizing your pain and dismissing you. I feel for Jessica's husband and children, and I pray for their healing. Please share this story with all the women in your life.
Like, seriously, lovelies, this is what I have always been talking about. This is what you see as a Black woman with a, like, how could they neglect this woman? How could they tell her that she was diagnosed with a fibroid, but her problem was actually a cervical cancer? This is what I was even talking about. It's not even like, seriously, lovelies. The way at which the health sector neglect especially Black women is something that is alarming. It's something that is alarming. Someone is in pain, but because you feel that this person do not matter, I could just diagnose anything and tell her that, okay, this is actually what is wrong with you. You could just go, state itself. I'll just like treating her of what is not actually wrong with her. Like, this actually started 2000. Like, how long? That was a long time. And this cancer thing have to pass from stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 without anyone dictating it until when you get to stage 3. Like, if we cannot, run to a medical practitioner, who else are we going to run to? Who else are we going to run to? All because they felt that these people don't feel pains, or this kind of people are not people that you have to give in all your time and your attention. Are the kind of people that, okay, they do not matter, so why do I need to stress myself? Just, and when you ask, they will tell you that, oh, stuff like this do happen. No one can stop, stuff like this. It happens sometimes. But what stopped you from dictating this earlier on? What stopped you from detecting this earlier? Because maybe you felt that this person is not that important. Okay, she's bleeding, and okay, let's just conclude that okay, it's just fibroids, without trying to do a proper examination, without trying to see what the root cause of the problem is. Okay, but because of she's a colored, she's a black woman, let's just check it up, and okay, I think it's just a cancer thing you're having. So she's probably going through, medical treatment, thinking that she had fibroids, until this thing decided to develop to this stage. And the way they casually say it, oh my God, can you didn't, because these people don't care. They don't care. It's none of their business. This is not their family. This is not their sister or brother or nothing. Just imagine this woman with her 2 toddlers, with a husband. I don't know, is it like, what kind of negligence is this? Because when I saw this, I immediately have to go check, like, to know if this is actually curable. And I found that it's something that can be cured at the early stage if early detected. And she went immediately, she had the first attack. And she was misdiagnosed that she has a fibroid. But that was not the case until this woman have to, lose her life in the process. At what end would they keep doing this? At what end would they keep doing this? At what end? Like, this should just be something like an eye-opener. We already know this. We already know the way they treat, people of our type, especially in the medical, system and all of that. We already know these things. But we as black women should be able to have second, third, fourth, and fifth opinions, because this is not more. This is not a joke anymore. We have to advocate for yourself. We have to advocate for ourselves. Like, this reminds me of a video that I saw, I think that was last year. This man was live. She was on FaceTime live on Facebook, begging, talking about how she feels some type of pain. She was neglected. She was neglected until this woman, until they have to tell her to leave. She have to crawl from her bed down to the floor, going to the reception to beg for a pain relief. They were talking about how she's abusing it and all of that, until she was actually sent back home, I think so, and she passed. Like, seriously, what do they mean by misdiagnosed? What is these doctors doing? What are they doing? What happens to the vow? What were you thinking that you have to misdiagnose this? Do you think, is it that some life are precious and some are not? This is a wife, a mother, a sister, someone's daughter. And because of, I don't know, the story that just talking about, this young, promising lady have to lose it all because of a misdiagnosis. I was able to just go through, to click on this cervical cancer of a thing and go through people that have experienced it and all of that. A lot of people were just even giving testimonies. People were, it's something that is curable at the first instant. But no, it's not in this case. They didn't take her seriously. They told her something else was wrong with her. She has to go deal with it. It has to take, couple of attacks. And each attack gets you to a certain stage again. It takes 1, 2 to 3 stage for them to find out something they must have find out earlier on. This is why you need to have fourth opinion. You have to advocate for yourself. Talk. If it's to shout, shout. They will say, okay, black women are loud and shout. Shout. You're trying to save yourself. You're trying to save yourself, because if you don't do that, none of these people cares about you. You are the only person that cares about yourself. You care about yourself. Your family care about you. Your kids cares about you. Your husband, your partner, they care about you. They don't really care. This is why you need to advocate. This is why when I saw this video, I was like, okay, this is just it. I was just thinking about this. Guys, we need to advocate for ourselves. We need to share this video so that something like this will not repeat itself again. When you feel some type of ways, listen to your body. Listen to your body and get up. Go to that office. Go to that, tell them this is your right. You have a right to live. You have a right to take care of your offspring, your family. You have the right. What is all this negligence all about? Like, seriously, love this. I'm totally like, I just decided to bring it up here just to create more awareness. This is just trending all over the place. We need to create awareness to stop something like this from happening again. To stop it from happening again, love this. Why not just, leave me also in the comment section. Please share this video. I have never begged for a video to be shared like this. You have to help to create this awareness so that more black women will be aware. They will be aware. Please share this video. I'm begging. Please share this video to get to larger audience, to get to more black women. Share to your WhatsApp contacts. Share everywhere. We need to create this awareness to stop this from reoccurring itself. Please love this. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Subscribe if you've not done that already, and I will see you love this when I upload the next one.
Up to this extent, thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes, guys. Alright, lovelies. Please share this video, subscribe, and I will see you when I upload the next one.